Thank you for tuning in to another episode of my Veterans to Success podcast. You probably know by now, my mission is to help 1 million veterans and entrepreneur business owners achieve the dreams, goals, and aspirations they deserve. That is why I created the Veterans to Success podcast, because I get to interview guys, men and women, who want to share their fascinating stories with you about their time before, during and after their time in the military, so you can benefit and overcome your challenges. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be mesmerized, astounded, and entertained. Today, I've got with me Neil Taylor. We met some time ago, and we've been chewing the fat. And I just thought it'd be interesting to interview Neil because it's about the stuff that he's done before. And Neil, thank you so much for joining me today. It's great to see you. And what I'd like you to do is tell me a little bit about yourself before the military, all that time ago.
Hi, Joe. Good morning. Yes, no problem at all. Before I joined up, long time ago in '96, I worked in hotels for about 2.5 years. So, but through that time, I'd always wanted to join the RAF, and it was through going through the recession. So they weren't taking on at the time. So I worked in hotels. I started doing a youth training, hotel management scheme.
All right. Okay.
Course, as it were. So I was working in a hotel for 30 quid a week. It's like slave labor, really. Think about it now. And but that got me interacting with people, giving me confidence, communication, being part of a team. I was like doing portering in the mornings, and in the evenings I was working in the restaurant. So I had different scopes to work on, communicating with people, and being part of a well-established team at that hotel. Right. So I did that for 2.5 years. Worked in a couple of hotels because the money was better at the time, so I moved on from that one, and then I had my calling from the RAF. Got through all the interview stages, and I was accepted.
By the way, I just want to get you there. So what happened while you were working at the hotel in the leisure industry and hospitality? What made you decide that you wanted to go in the RAF?
Oh no! I always wanted to be in the RAF. I was in the Air Cadets when I was 13, and
right, okay,
yeah. So that gave me a good grounding as well for the RAF. Then my brother joined up as well, so that made me more want to join. Right, and then I got in eventually.
All right, so like the hotels was just a marked time, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Just so then you got into the RAF, and what happened then? I mean, what prompted you to join the RAF? What floated your boat, or flew your plane?
Being part of. I wanted to be do something for do my bit. That's what I wanted to do. Right. And I did. So did all that, and then I went through Peterborough, AFCO. They were very welcoming, as they all are. They tried to get me to be a chef. But I was like, no, thanks. So, but I wanted to be a medic. So, which my brother was a medic as well. So I kind of had an idea what was going on, and then the went from there really, and on to Halton for my basic training, and then
RAF Halton. Yeah,
yes,
I remember that. Yeah,
and then off to Keogh Barracks in Aldershot for best part of a year. So it's tri-service training. It's the first course of its kind. Yeah. And so that was an eye-opener, going from an RAF environment to a predominantly Army-led environment. So it's good
we were talking about that, weren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Like you guys stay in hotels, we stay in fields, sort of thing.
That's right. Yes.
And so how did that work for you? How did you get on when you were doing your medic training? What sort of stress were you put under, duress, if you like?
I was very stressful because I'd had no medical background at all, and there's a lot to learn, and the pressure was on to get through the exams and the practicals, And yeah, we got our heads down in the books every night, and just cracked on really.
Good stuff. And so from your training at the shop, or the shop, where did you then venture to? Because you've done a good stint in the RAF actually. I've looked at a brief look at your career, and I bet you it's involved quite a few interesting things. So
Yeah.
where did you go next, and what
Yeah.
did you do?
So first posting was RAF Marham up in Norfolk near Kings Lynn. So it was a tornado station. So 2 squadrons on there, working in the medical centre. So I was there for 2.5 years. So that was good. That was a good introduction, especially working with the aircraft, emergency states, things like that, going out in the ambulance on the airfield, and lots of exercises, disaster exercises, and things like that. So it's an interesting place to work.
Which prepped you for some of the other interesting stuff that you did. So what was your most demanding time being a medic in
demanding, as in, but Afghanistan was probably the big one in Herrick 9, 0809. So I was on the MERT, the Medical Emergency Response Team. So we were taking the A&E department to the front line to pick up the casualties, which was it's very interesting, very intense part of my career. But it was it was interesting. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wanting to put you under any pressure and delve in. There would have been some challenging times, though, I would imagine.
Absolutely, yeah. We're exposed to a lot of I was only there. They were put us there for 3 months because of the high intensity of the role. So I think it was 25 British personnel who passed away while in that time I was there, and a lot of other nationality as well. Plus a lot of injuries to go along with all that as well. So it's it's the adrenaline got us through it. But when you come home, you decompress very quickly, and you go from 150 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour, and it's very surreal, and it's how to cope with it. There's a lot of people out there in the same boat, and you just get on with it. But you've got to, any dark days, things like that, you've got to talk about, and not hold to yourself, because if you do that, it's going to make it even worse for yourself in the long run.
Yeah, which is why I love being involved with Transformation for Veterans, a charity I work with, because we help you guys overcome that. Because they first found it, I'm not sure whether you're aware. They first found, when the Apollo missions were happening, and then they landed on the moon. When they came back, right, they did go through a big period of depression. And and a sense of loss, because like when you've been in space or walked on the moon, what else is there?
Nothing.
Yeah, so you come back to Earth, like you fall back to Earth, and then all right, I'm going for a drive or a walk. I'm going to walk in the park. It's not quite as good as the moon, is it? So no. and they found that they really got depressed, because once you've been at a top level in something, like you in Afghan, on the front line, 3 months, working day and night, saving lives, seeing lives lost, and then you come back and you're walking around the street, and the worst thing that can happen is somebody trips over a flagstone that's sticking out the ground. And so how did you cope with that when that happened?
Well, I knew straight away that there was issues underlying with the things that I've been exposed to out there. So I sought help straight away. Saw my doctor, and he referred me to the CPN, the psychiatric nurses, community psychiatric nurse, and did some treatment with them. Worked for a bit, and then it kept coming back, and then 10 years later, I met somebody when I was based out in Cyprus, and he says they've been doing it wrong. So they're not been anchoring your treatment.
Right.
Had to go through it all again. But he gained a total game changer for me, and it was towards the end of my career. So I'm so pleased that I met this gentleman who sorted me out, really. So
What was he? Was he a therapist?
yes, community psychiatric nurse, RAF chap.
Ah, right. Okay. So
Yeah.
what had been happening with, because these were civilians, I take it, were they?
Where?
What the community
Oh,
psychiatric nurse did?
they were service personnel.
Oh, they were
I think
service
it's because
personnel.
I think it's because their experience and all
Yeah.
that side of
Right.
things. It's then finally met the right person, and he nailed it on
Right.
the head,
Okay.
and they got me sorted out.
So they were creating an anchor for you on the
Yes,
stuff that you've gone, rather than
yeah,
an anchor to forget it or to anchor
correct.
something else. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
change the image in my head to a
Yeah, and
positive.
I've got you now about the community psychiatric nurse being in service. Yeah.
Yeah.
So from that, then what was the point where you just thought, do you know what, I've had it, and also the fact that you'd served your time, which we were talking about, you were coming up to the end of your time. Was it just that at that point you said, I've had enough, or I've done my 22 and I want to get out? What triggered it?
Yeah, it was the time up. So I've done 22, and then I did Afghan at my 12-year point, and I was ready to leave after then because of what I'd been through. But then I thought I could ride it out. I'll get my pension, which is I'm so glad I hung on for that. That's been a godsend, really. But yeah, time up, and when I got to the 20-year point, the mirror settlement started, and looking at my courses. So I knew other people that had gone offshore as medics as well. So I mean, the pay's good, can't complain that, but it doesn't buy total happiness when I can't be at home all the time. So some trips away are good, some aren't so good. So some can really drag. When you're on your own, it can be a bit tough.
So that's interesting about the getting out. And you started your resettlement 2 years really before you got out.
Yes.
For me, it was I did 7.5 and then another 7.5. So the transition for me, I didn't feel, mind you, it was long before you got out, but it wasn't that great. How did you find the resettlement process for you?
Yeah, it's very good actually. I knew what I wanted. I did my homework. That's the biggie. Do your homework.
Yeah.
You got to be fixed on what you want to do.
Thanks for that, mate. So you're saying I didn't do my homework?
Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm only joking. So you did your homework, yeah?
Yeah. And then I knew what course I wanted to do, and then I stuck to it. So all my courses are all paid for through my enhanced learning credits. So I pay 20% on them, but it's a fraction of what they're charging. So did that, and all very good courses, and yeah, got me where I wanted to be, really. So it got me a job, which is the main thing.
And when you got to the gate on the day you were leaving, and what happened on that day? What was the feeling as you stepped over the threshold into Civvy Street?
Surreal, really surreal. It was lump in my throat time, because it's most of half my life I've been serving, and then that was it. Handed my ID card back. I'm out the gate and I can't go back in because I've got an ID card.
Yeah.
And I drive past certain camps. I think I can't go on there anymore. You know, it's like it took a while to get used to that idea. Probably a few months. But once you get into your mindset, and then my job kicked in, and I had that to distract me from that during the transition. So it's like a weight off my shoulders as well, but also an emotional, like a breakup, really.
Hey, do you enjoy sipping a good glass of wine? As you know, sipping too much wine can leave you feeling groggy in the mornings. For less than the price of a good bottle of wine, you can gain access to valuable business and life resources gained from my over 37 years in business and 15 years in the military. These world-class resources are designed to help you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations you deserve. So visit joelteam.com now to find out more. That's JOETEAMS.com to find out more.
It was leaving something behind, but still a veteran. That's what kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
So you've touched on it already. I want you to just go inside your mind now and think, what was the biggest challenge about leaving?
Yeah, well, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. The biggest challenge was living on a camp and the security of the camp, and we felt ever so safe behind the wire.
Yeah.
And then we're coming out. We moved to a nice town, and but it's like it's not the same. It took a good while to get used to that security, that feeling of being looked after, sort of thing. So we're protected.
Yeah.
So now we're out in the open. It's but I think once it's that initial bit, in a few months, you just get used to it, and you do move on. It's just that transition.
Yeah, because you could always look at the state when you go through the guard past the guard room. Is it bikini, black, amber, whatever?
Yeah.
And that would tell you that you're being looked after, and they know
That's right.
what the threat is. Yeah. So, and I know this question, this next question that I've got for you is going to seem a little bit strange, because I know to many guys who are in the military, guys being men or women, just to clarify that, often you do, or we do an awful lot and just think it's everyday job and it's nothing special, it's just what we do. So now, as a frame that, I'd like to ask you, what is the secret to your success? And I want you to think about the success you have achieved already that you might not even appreciate if I hadn't said what I've just said.
Yeah, I was thinking about this one. It's the underlying skills that I've been given by the military. Like I said before, communication, team player, have a bit of respect for others as you're old, for your seniors as well, and play the game. It's just just be a nice person, because if you're not, then you're not gonna.
Yeah, what goes around.
Absolutely, I believe
what
in karma.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah, very much so. So, but yeah, it's this. I don't see it as a success, but now you've mentioned it, yes, it has been a success and a big transition. It's got me where I am today. So I've got my own home. Looking at, I've been working offshore now for 5 years, so managing that. So yeah, that's given me the skills to be where I am now. So yes.
Yeah. And even though we may not realize it at the time, no pain, no gain. What pain we've had in the past helps us to be who we are today.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And talking about pain, because I see so many people on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all over the show, talking about the success that they've made, and this is what you want to be, like photoshopping, and they may have hired a Porsche or a Lamborghini for the day, and it's not theirs really, but they make everyone think it is theirs. Or there's people on LinkedIn saying leadership courses, right? And when you look, you think, well, how qualified are they to talk about leadership, if you know what I mean?
Sure.
So with the success now that, and I'm really pleased you've recognised the success, and I've read your CV, and I know, right, that you've got a lot more success, and we could talk for ages just on that, because saving life is a success, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I mean,
there's great reward in that.
Yeah. So, how do you deal with failure, though?
It's a tough one. It's got to reassess, work it out, give yourself a debrief, talk to people around you, talk to family, your nearest and dearest, try and work it out. And okay, we've done that, and then try some plan B, and move on and go from there. Really, that's the best thing. Communicate. Yeah,
well, and you know what? That was the word that came into my head then. Communication. Yeah. It's about, see, when I talk to roughy, toughy military people, the one thing that I've done, because you know the term pull up a sandbag, right?
Yeah.
When I've sat down with guys, and you look at these guys and you think, flipping heck, oh, there's no way anything can get you down. And when you sit down and I start having a chat, you find out actually they've got some stuff going on, and just chatting about it is cathartic and it helps. So communication, it's great that you do that, and it's good that you've got a circle of friends that you can communicate with. And I know we're going to chew the fat over some stuff as well, just to find out more about each other. So, and talking about that leads, because it's great, because it's as if you've written the script. Because the next one is, how important do you think a good social network is, and a good business network to have?
Oh, massively. I think it's especially LinkedIn as well. That's a big one. So if you've got certain things, and if you've got 500 people and half of them like it, then that can go to their connections are going to see it, and that just goes on and on and on. So that's a network. You've got Facebook, Instagram. It depends how you want to play it, really. How far you want to push what you want to put out there, and the world is yours if you want it. You've got to work for it. It doesn't come to you on a float. So
and the clue is in the word, actually, network, isn't it?
Yeah.
You net and then work it. So,
absolutely, yeah.
Because that's how we met, isn't it? Really?
Yes, that's right.
So it's great. So with that, and talking about communicating with family, friends, how important is it to have a good mentor or coach? What qualities have you found in having a good coach or mentor?
Well, you need somebody to look up to confide in. Predominantly, my wife I confide a lot in, so she's very knowledgeable in various fields. So she'll advise me if I need to, or speak to friends. And reach out. Really, I've got it's quite easy, but it's important. You need to speak to people.
And going back to your military days and mine, I mean, a coach or a mentor might have been your squadron leader, or actually the section commander, to IC and stuff. Because and sergeant, I mean, I had a great sergeant in training. I didn't think it was at the time. Now that I look back, that was a great baptism by fire, but it was a great learning process.
Definitely, and you remember it, don't you?
Yeah. And then in business, I've had some guys that have been less abrasive, just as effective though, in different ways.
Okay.
So you've already touched on it, Neil. I'd just like you to have a think, because now that we've gone through this process and you've shared a lot of valuable information with me, how transferable do you think the skills are you learn in the military, and how valuable do you think they are in Civvy Street?
Oh, gold dust, really. It's extremely valuable. You can transfer your skills to anything, really. If you wanted to, if you're a supplier, and then you go to work in Tesco's as a team leader, you've had skills from the military to help you be a team lead. You don't actually need to know exactly what the job is, but if you can team lead and tell people what to do and learn from them and gain respect for them quickly, and you will, there'll be no problems at all. You can transfer those skills to any environment, pretty much.
And how important do you think the lessons from military life have been in helping you with your everyday life as well?
I just being nice to people is a biggie. I get more response being nice. I was never a shouty person or anything like that. If you be nice to people, they'll be nice with you. So I believe in karma and just be nice all the time. Positive thinking, no negativity, and it goes a long way, really.
Yeah, and interestingly, what I've heard coming through is about communication, having a good support network, the way that you were always focused on joining the RAF, and even though you didn't do it straight away, you went into the hospitality business, to tie you over whilst your application process was going through for a few years while you were
Yeah.
determining what you could do. And you did get challenges, and certainly the tours that you've done to Afghanistan and various things, because, hey, you know what? I take my hat off to you guys, medics, because I've been in a few scrapes where you medics have come to me, and without you, I might not be here. So thank you very much for the pathway that you took, because it's important to have the medic, someone to answer and to call when you call out medic as well.
We get a lot of grief. We get a lot of abuse.
Well, I mean, when you're not working, mate, you're just making cups of tea, aren't you?
It's the same offshore. I just get so much abuse all the time. So you won't be like this if I'm looking down on you. You know what I mean? So but they know.
Actually, it's nice to have a face looking at you who's got a syringe or something with morphine in. But when you're not, and you're just pouring a cup of tea, I mean, I mean, joking aside, no, absolutely brilliant. And what I want to ask now is, I want you to think about this before you answer it. What is the one thing or the one top tip you would give to a veteran or someone who's leaving the military that will help them achieve their success on Civvy Street?
Do your homework. Just get the right courses, read all the reviews. On the LCAS website, you've got all the different courses and our reviews on there from people that do it. Just don't jump in feet first, look around and find the right course for you, and you'll do fine. Good.
Well, listen, Neil, I know we're going to have many conversations again, and I'll probably have you on the podcast again sometime. So until we meet again, thank you so much for your time. I've been Joe Connor, you've been listening to Neil Taylor, and it's great. Thank you.
Cheers, Joe.
See you later. JoeTeams.com is a resource I have created to fulfill my mission to help 1 million veterans and business entrepreneurs like you achieve the goals, dreams, and aspirations they deserve. JoeTeams.com is jam-packed full of valuable resources specifically designed to help you on your journey to success. Visit JoeTeams.com now to find out how you can join and start your journey to success immediately. That's JoeTeams.com, JoeTeams, JoeTeams.com. And until we meet again, have a brilliant day.